Some American towns don't fade, they haunt. Forgotten by time or abandoned on purpose, they sit quietly with flickering lights and stories no one wants to tell. These aren't myths or movie sets. They're real, unsettling places where the strange became normal, and the normal never came back. Let's explore 18 of them. 18. Dudleytown, Connecticut, where silence screams. Dudleytown, Connecticut was once a peaceful colonial village until everything went wrong. Crops failed, families fell ill, and people vanished without explanation. Locals blame a centuries-old curse tied to the Dudley family. Today, the forest has reclaimed the land. Known as Dark Entry Forest, it's silent, disorienting, and eerily birdless. No cell signal, no development, and plenty of panic. Hikers report nausea, confusion, and an overwhelming urge to leave. The land is privately protected, with warnings posted everywhere. The strangest part? Nothing actually happens, and that's what makes it terrifying. There's no jump scare, no ghost sighting, just a creeping awareness that something unseen is always nearby. It's not haunted by spirits, it's haunted by silence. 17. Skagway, Alaska, the town that sleeps with one eye open. Skagway, Alaska sparkles in summer. Trains chugging through mountains, cruise ships crowding the docks, streets buzzing with tourists. But when winter arrives, everything changes. The sun fades to just a few hours a day, the crowds disappear, and an unsettling quiet takes over. Locals call it the long quiet, a season where time blurs and isolation sharpens. Cabin fever here isn't a phrase, it's a public health concern. Residents report vivid dreams, strange thoughts, and an eerie urge to keep the lights on, always. There's no haunting, no horror movie moment, just creeping psychological weight. Shadows feel too alive. Footsteps sound too close. And when it's pitch black at 10 a.m., Skagway doesn't feel frozen. It feels like it's watching. Chesnesty Mineral Wells, Texas, healing waters, haunted halls. Mineral Wells, Texas was once a booming wellness destination, famous for its mineral-rich water and grand hotels. When the spa craze faded, the town was left with something far stranger. Looming over everything is the abandoned Baker Hotel, a 14-story relic that still dominates the skyline. Locals report cold spots, failing electronics, and sleep paralysis even during scorching summers. Visitors arrive with paranormal gear, but residents cope by keeping the lights on. Downtown feels split between revival and decay, with restored shops next to crumbling buildings. The mineral water still flows, still smells metallic, and still unsettles first-time drinkers. Mineral Wells isn't openly hostile, it's uneasy. The kind of town where the strange becomes routine, and the routine never feels fully safe. 15. Cairo, Illinois, where the river whispers, goodbye. Cairo had everything. 2 mighty rivers, prime trade routes, a location that should have made it the next New Orleans. Instead, it's a textbook example of how a town can vanish in slow motion. Walk its empty streets today and you'll feel it. Opportunity lost. Over 70% of buildings are vacant. Median home prices are laughably low because no one wants to stay. This isn't a ghost town, it's a town that's actively dissolving. Years of political neglect, redlining, and economic collapse hollowed it out. The silence isn't peaceful, it's heavy. Drive through and Google Maps will lie to you. Streets end in empty lots. Whole blocks are gone. A delivery driver described it best. It's not dangerous, it's worse. It's empty. Some towns haunt you with what happened. Cairo haunts you with what didn't. 14. Centralia, Pennsylvania, the town that's been burning for 60 years. Beneath the cracked streets of Centralia, something still burns. Not metaphorically, literally. In 1962, someone set fire to a pile of trash in an old mining pit. That pit was connected to miles of underground coal veins. The fire caught and never went out. Decades passed, smoke started rising through sidewalks, sinkholes opened under homes. The government stepped in, but only after years of shrugging. Eventually, the town was condemned. People left, Houses were bulldozed, the post office closed, the highway was rerouted. But the fire, still going. Over 400 acres of underground coal still smolder today and could burn for another 250 years. Technically, 5 residents still live there. They fought the government and won life rights. But once they're gone, so is any legal claim to the land. Walking through Centralia feels like trespassing on a world the earth is trying to take back. Asphalt cracks under your feet, sulfur lingers in the air. No birds, no wind, just steam that hisses when you get too close. It's not a ghost town, it's a slow apocalypse, and it doesn't care if you're watching. 13. Elkhorn, Wisconsin. The beast still walks Bray Road. Elkhorn looks like a Hallmark movie set. Cozy homes, parades, friendly neighbors, but along one dark stretch of country road, something else walks. Locals call it the Beast of Bray Road. A 7-foot-tall creature with glowing red eyes, clawed hands, and the build of a linebacker. First reported in the late 1930s, sightings spiked again in the 80s and 90s. But here's the kicker. These aren't stories from tourists. These are from lifelong locals. Reports say the creature chases cars, stalks fields, and vanishes into the corn like a whisper. The town leans into the legend, sure, but not too hard. Because even now, people avoid Bray Road after dark. One farmer said, "You don't go looking for it. It already knows where you are." The beast hasn't hurt anyone, yet. But it's part of the town now. Just like the cold, just like the snow, just like the stories. 12. Ajo, Arizona, haunted by the air itself. The sunsets in Ajo will steal your breath. The sky stretches forever. The desert glows pink and gold. But once night falls, everything shifts. This town was built on copper, boomed during the 20th century, then collapsed when the mines closed. What's left is a crater in the earth and a silence that feels wrong. Locals talk about hallucinations, migraines, and houses that seem to hum even without power. Scientists blame leftover sulfides and soil chemistry. The Tohono O'odham Nation, whose land surrounds Ajo, believe the desert here is thin, a place where the spiritual bleeds into the physical. It's beautiful, but it watches. People report disorientation, odd weather patterns, and strange animal behavior. Rent is cheap, but the quiet, too quiet. There's a reason no one goes walking near the mine at night. Not because it's dangerous, but because it feels like something's waiting. 11. Whittier, Alaska, where everyone lives in one building. Whittier isn't just isolated, it's contained. Over 200 people live in one massive concrete tower, post office, school, grocery store, all of it inside. Step outside and you're in the middle of a snow-blasted wilderness, surrounded by glacier-carved cliffs and a sea that looks like it forgot how to reflect light. To get in or out, there's a one-lane tunnel, and it closes at night. Whittier isn't dangerous in the horror movie sense. It's worse. It's claustrophobia in the form of a town. Imagine living with your boss, your ex, your dentist, and a guy who talks to ravens for 6 months of snowstorms. There's no privacy. Tension doesn't just build, it echoes floor to floor. It's safe technically, but step into the hallway at 3 a.m. with flickering lights and total silence, and try not to feel like you're in the pilot of a psychological thriller. And if that tunnel doesn't open one morning? Well, hope you stocked up. 10. Stull, Kansas, the town that tried to erase itself. There's a cemetery in Stull that no one will give you directions to. Even Google won't help. And that's exactly how the locals like it. The town itself barely exists, just a few homes and a lot of silence. But the cemetery? That's where the stories live. They say there's a portal to hell under one of the gravestones, that the devil appears twice a year, that even the Pope refused to fly over Stull during a visit to America. The old church, long abandoned, mysteriously collapsed in 2002. No permits, no warning. The graveyard is now locked and patrolled. Stull's spookiness isn't loud, it's surgical. It doesn't ask for attention. It hides, and somehow that makes it worse. No businesses, no gas stations, no one willing to talk. Just a place that might be cursed and doesn't care if you believe. 9. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the warning came first. Point Pleasant looks calm at first glance. Brick buildings, river views, a downtown that feels like it belongs in a history textbook. But this town carries a reputation that refuses to fade, no matter how many murals get painted over it. In the mid-1960s, locals started reporting a massive winged creature with glowing red eyes. Sightings weren't rare. They were frequent, consistent, and unsettlingly similar. Then, in 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed during rush hour, killing 46 people. Overnight, the town's story changed forever. To this day, Point Pleasant isn't just known for what people saw, it's known for what happened next. The creature became known as the Mothman. And whether anyone believes in it or not, the timing permanently fused the legend to tragedy. What makes this town unsettling isn't a monster statue downtown or the themed museum. It's the atmosphere, the fog rolling off the river, the way sound carries at night, the feeling that the town remembers something it can't quite explain. People who move here expecting quirky tourism quickly learn that the town has a weight to it. Locals say it's not fear exactly, it's pressure, like standing under a storm cloud that never rains. Point Pleasant isn't loud about its creepiness. It doesn't need to be. The warning came once, and it was enough. 8. Kaskaskia, Illinois, the town that lost its state. Kaskaskia should not exist the way it does. It was once the first capital of Illinois, a thriving riverside settlement. Today, it's home to roughly a dozen people and sits on the wrong side of the Mississippi River. The river didn't just flood Kaskaskia, it moved. Over decades, erosion and flooding shifted the river's course, stranding the town in Missouri while it legally remained part of Illinois. Roads disappeared, businesses vanished, infrastructure gave up. Getting there feels like a mistake. Back roads turn into narrower roads, cell service fades, then suddenly there it is. An almost empty town surrounded by farmland and water. There's no economy, no real services, no noise, just old buildings, a church that rarely rings, and a sense that time forgot this place on purpose. Living here isn't about convenience, it's about isolation. The kind where help is far away and silence fills the gaps. Kaskaskia didn't collapse in a dramatic way. It just slowly slipped out of relevance, leaving behind a town that feels like a footnote no one finished reading. 7. Taos, New Mexico, the hum beneath the quiet. Taos is beautiful, artists love it. Spiritual seekers flock to it. The desert landscape feels ancient and powerful. But there's something else here, something residents don't advertise. Locals call it the hum. It's a low-frequency sound that only some people can hear. There's no confirmed source, no machinery, no fix. Those who hear it describe it as a constant vibration, like an engine running just out of sight. Taos has long been a magnet for people searching for peace. Ironically, many leave feeling unsettled. The silence here is intense. The landscape feels observant. And for some, the hum turns that quiet into something oppressive. The town's crime rate is higher than expected for its size. The cost of living isn't cheap. And jobs mostly orbit tourism and art. But none of that explains why so many people say Taos changes them. Some towns exhaust you physically. Taos works on the mind. 6. Utqiagvik, Alaska, where the sun leaves completely. Utqiagvik sits above the Arctic Circle, farther north than most people ever go. For about 65 days every winter, the sun never rises, not even a sliver. This isn't symbolic darkness, it's absolute. Life here is expensive, supplies are limited, the wind is relentless. And when the polar night sets in, sleep schedules collapse. Mental health struggles increase, even routine tasks feel heavier under constant darkness. What makes Utqiagvik eerie isn't danger, it's endurance. Residents don't romanticize the dark, they respect it. Because ignoring it comes with consequences. Step outside at noon in winter and it looks like midnight. The horizon disappears. The ocean groans as ice shifts. And the only thing breaking the darkness is artificial light. And the knowledge that the sun isn't coming back anytime soon. This town doesn't scare you, it tests you. 5. Helltown, Ohio, Erased but not explained. Helltown wasn't always called that. It used to be Boston Village. But in the 1970s, the government began buying out residents, forcing them to leave to make way for a national park. That part is documented. What isn't documented is why the town was left abandoned instead of redeveloped. Roads were sealed, houses were boarded up, signs warning of danger appeared without explanation. Rumors filled the vacuum. Chemical spills, cult activity, experimental facilities, mutated wildlife. Whether any of it is true almost doesn't matter. The secrecy did the damage. Even now, the area feels watched, like it's being preserved in a state of unease. Locals warn visitors not to linger, not because of crime, but because things don't feel right. When an entire town disappears and no one gives a clear reason, the imagination takes over. Helltown thrives on that uncertainty. 4. Marfa, Texas, the lights that watch back. Every night in the desert outside Marfa, glowing orbs appear. They hover, they move, they react. Some say headlights, some say atmospheric conditions. Others say neither explanation holds up under scrutiny. Marfa attracts artists, skeptics, and believers in equal measure. During the day, it feels laid back and creative. At night, the desert opens up and the lights return. What makes Marfa unsettling isn't just the phenomenon. It's the way the town accepts it. No panic, no urgency, just quiet acknowledgement that something happens here and no one fully controls it. Living in Marfa means embracing mystery without resolution, and for some people, that never stops being uncomfortable. 3. Nome, Alaska, where people vanish. Nome is remote even by Alaska standards. There are no roads connecting it to the rest of the state. You get there by plane, boat, or not at all. Over the years, more than 20 people have vanished in and around Nome without explanation. No bodies, no clear leads, just absence. The town is cold, expensive, and isolated. Groceries cost significantly more than average. Jobs are limited, winters are brutal, and when someone doesn't come back from a walk, the town doesn't always get answers. Nome's eeriness isn't folklore, it's statistical, and that makes it harder to dismiss. 2. Body, California, the town that punishes thieves. Body is preserved in a state of arrested decay. Buildings stand exactly as they were left in the 1800s. Desks still hold papers, shelves still hold bottles, and visitors are warned, don't take anything. Park rangers receive letters every year from people who stole small souvenirs, rocks, nails, glass, and later experienced severe misfortune. Car accidents, house fires, divorces, medical emergencies. The items often get mailed back with apologies. Coincidence or not, the pattern is unsettling. Body doesn't feel empty, it feels paused, like something is waiting for you to make a mistake. 1. Picha, Oklahoma, a town too toxic to save. Picha was once a booming mining town. Lead and zinc built it. Then those same materials poisoned it. Toxic waste piles surround the area. Sinkholes opened beneath homes. Lead contamination in children reached catastrophic levels. Eventually, the government stepped in, not to fix it, but to evacuate it. Most residents were forced out, buildings were condemned, schools were abandoned mid-use, the town became uninhabitable. Picha isn't haunted, it's worse, it's a warning. You can still drive through, you just shouldn't breathe too deeply. If this list changed the way small towns feel, hit like. If you'd want to know where not to stop on a road trip, subscribe. And if there's a town that locals warn people about but never explain why, drop it in the comments. Because some places don't want visitors, and some warnings exist for a reason.